Your full-time job?
My full-time job. I dropped out of high school because I was earning enough money to do it full-time. So I feel like I'm living this dream life, but I'm also so lonely. I don't know, maybe that memory shaped me a lot because I felt like, oh, I'm not good enough. I just have to change this. I can't live like this. I'm not doing the things I want to do because I feel so insecure.
What if you skipped university, you followed your dreams, and you built a life on your own terms? That's exactly what Mina did. From a small town in Norway to becoming an award-winning content creator, a freelancer, and illustrator with her own online store. She turned her passion into her profession, and today she's here to share her real story about it. And with that, welcome to Unfold. It's the very first episode of it with me, your host, Larissa Lienhard. Yes, you heard it right. We're stepping into something very, very new and special today. You also might know the podcast as Coffee to Go if you've already listened to it. But as the conversations grew deeper, so did the need for a new name as well. A name that truly reflects what we're actually doing here. And what we're doing is we unfold. We unfold ourselves and we unfold what we truly want. Today, we are not only celebrating the rebranding of Unfold, I also want to announce something very, very special. It's a new chapter of the podcast because it's the podcast's 1-year anniversary. So if you listen to it, welcome back. And if you see it the first time, then welcome to this new baby, which I am so unbelievably proud of. And I also want to say a big thank you for every single listener who always supported me, and for the people who are new, welcome to Unfold. And there is honestly no better way to celebrate both than having Mina today on my show to really dive deep into her own transformation. So if you're new or if you're old, what can you expect from Unfold? This podcast isn't about me telling you how to live your life. This podcast isn't about me telling you all the answers. It's about that I walk with you step by step through every milestone, like a friend who supports you, a friend who is here for you, and a friend who helps you reconnect with your true self. I want you to empower to believe in yourself and in what you can do. And with that, sharing my vulnerable stories and my honest stories, and also inviting a lot of guests that they share their own story. Together, we will explore how to believe in ourselves and create a life that truly fulfills us. Because honestly, I know that you deserve an extraordinary life. And with that, let's dive into this new chapter. Let's welcome Mina to the podcast Unfold. Mina, thank you so much that you are here. This is, I know we already talked about it. You said it's an honor for you to be here, but it's an absolutely honor to me that you are sharing with me this experience, and that you said yes when I asked you. I was like, yes. So cool that I'm not doing my first episode alone. So really, from deep down of my heart, welcome again. And thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's such an honor to be here, and especially on your big day as well. Your 1-year anniversary. That's such a special thing. And I feel it's it's going to be weird to like talk about my story when it's your big day. So I feel very honored that you wanted me to be here. And I was like, when you asked me to go on the podcast, I felt it was like, my immediate thought was like, no, I'm not going to go on an English podcast because that's such out of my comfort zone to talk English. And I've never done anything like it. But also the feeling of it was so scary that I had to say yes. Yeah, I had to say yes. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're welcome. I thank you. Did you had a moment? Was it like when you, because I messaged you?
Yeah.
And did you had a moment where you were like, oh, I'm gonna say no? Like, were you about to write no? Or
no, you know, the first 5 minutes when I saw the message, I was like, oh no, I've been too friendly. But then I was like, this is such a good opportunity to grow and to learn. And that was like the whole point of this trip to Bali. It was like saying yes to every opportunity to meet new people. And I would never imagine to like be guest at a podcast while I'm on vacation, a solo travel vacation to Bali. And now I'm on this podcast with you, and it's your special day, and I feel so blessed. Thank you.
Thank you. But yeah, let's really dive into it. So you're in Bali, and also you're new in my podcast. So for all the guests who don't know who you are, how would you describe the Mina who you are today? How would you describe this Mina?
Oh, it's such a big question. I feel like I have to start with the basic. Yeah, I'm 23 years old. I live alone in Oslo with my dog. And I'm living as a freelancer. So I live by myself. I do my work by myself. And I feel like I do my life on my own at this point. And that's the journey I'm on right now, to like build my best life and make the most out of my 20s and finding myself and what I want to do and meeting new people and making memories and just do everything that's out of my comfort zone, to be honest, because I want to grow, I want to learn, and I want to make the most of it.
And where does this comes from? Because I think doing something that not a lot of people do takes courage, you know? You don't follow the crowd, you do something else. For everyone who doesn't really know what exactly you do, could you maybe describe it? And then also sharing with us, where does this urge comes from?
Yeah. You know, from I was young, I always like have this, I always know I'm a bit different because everyone around me is like this so sporty, and they go to like this, they go to football or handball, and they're like, I don't know, more social than me maybe. I've always been like this introvert and done a lot of things on my own, like painting and more creativity maybe. So I was never good at sports or in gym in school, and I felt like I was a bit different there. But I found my passion in like crafting and just colors, and so school wasn't really my thing. I love the practical things. So when I went to like high school, I chose like a different subject the most. I chose like design, and then I met like a lot of people like me, which was really nice. And then I was like, I want to create things. So I started my YouTube channel because I went to this new school where I didn't know anybody. So I was like, now I'm just going to do it. Now I'm starting my YouTube channel because I want to do it. And I love video editing. And it was like, oh, I loved it. I could use hours after school just editing and making the titles and the transitions and the storytelling behind video. I love the concept of storytelling. So I started my YouTube channel, and it was just going to be like my own personal diary. I didn't think much of it, but then it like became like this big thing, and I got viewers and people were like commenting, and then it got really scary because people actually watch these things. And then it became my job, and I'm really lucky to have made it my job, my passion, and I feel really lucky. So I didn't mean to like go another way, but it just became like that. And because I've like dropped out of high school and doing something else maybe than other people, I haven't like studied or done the things that people normally expect of. Yeah, then it became very lonely, because I feel like I don't relate to people at my own age, and I don't have colleagues, I haven't friends from my study. I felt like I lost the social aspect of it, even though I'm really living my dream life of having my dream job, and it's such a special opportunity to have to live of your passion. It's not anybody who can do that. So I feel like I'm living this dream life, but I'm also so lonely, and that's the journey I'm on right now, to like change that. And I'm the only one that can change that.
When you think back about the time in school,
yeah,
when you had the feeling that sports isn't really something for me and I also don't fit in here or there, how did this felt for you? Did you have anyone who was thinking the same, or did you felt like an outsider? Did you felt already this feeling of loneliness back in school?
Yeah, I think I maybe always felt that way, maybe. But I feel like there also could be a lot of other people that felt that way, but I didn't find those people. So I had friends, but I just felt like I always been like appreciated other things that most people do. Like, people are more social than me, and that's okay. But I was more introverted. But I've learned when I grow up that I'm more extrovert than I thought. I love people, but I also love like doing my own knitting and sewing in my room. I love that too. But it needs to be a balance. People need people.
Did you have anyone who saw this in you? Like, did you have someone who you could what's the word? Did you have anyone who you could have talked to about this? Did you feel like, hey, I really like something else, and what can I do out of this?
You know, I was really lucky because I have like the best parents, and my mom has always like seen me and my creativity, and maybe that's because she's kind of the same. She's always been like drawing, and we made so much stuff together, and it's so fun. So they always supported me in my ways, and when I didn't want to like play handball, they were like,
handball.
Yeah, handball.
I was like, when I don't want to play humble.
Yeah, humble. I'm such a Norwegian with Norwegian accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, going. When I didn't want to like play handball, they were like, that's totally okay. Yeah, they never pressured me to anything. So I felt like I could really grow into being this creative person.
How would you describe yourself now? Because you said, I realized that I'm actually not only an introvert.
Yeah, that's crazy.
How did you realize that?
It's just the last few years I realized that I'm so much different than I actually thought, because I always like looked at myself and seen like a really like good girl. I always follow the rules and do everything that I'm told, and I'm an introvert, so I'm not really that socially outgoing, and I'm not good at sports, and I suck at this and I suck at that, so I shouldn't like take space. But when I started to like grew up, I was like, you know, actually I'm really good at this, and I'm really good at that, and I actually love to talk to people, and I'm like, I felt like I'm coming out of my shell. And I was always living in the comfort zone, like always. Because I sucked at like gym in school, then I would like skip it. I would take the easy way out. Oh, I have like stomach pain. I can't swim today. But now, I don't take the easy route. Now I want to like, yeah, this, I feel I'm not good at this at all, so then I'm going to do it. And I made so much memory from that, so much, like, I feel so empowered in myself, and I believe in myself now, and I didn't believe in myself at all before.
Do you know where it comes from? Where does it comes from that you were doubting yourself so much?
I feel like that's really common when you're like young and people are like insecure, and I was really insecure as well. And when you like grow up, you realize that it's not that big of a deal. You can take up space. I always knew that I was a nice person, so of course I can take up space. I can be myself. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize that before they hit their 20s.
Because what I was just wondering, but you can share as much as you want or as less as you want. Did something happen, maybe in school, a moment or anything where, yeah, maybe a bad memory that where you really started to doubt yourself, to question yourself? Because I think that these are the things that we sometimes can't control in life, right? We come to this earth and we are just pure. And then we experience, all of us experience so many things through life, and they shape us. So I was just wondering, where does this comes from? Because as you said, we all have insecurities, and
Yeah.
I still do. And every person has it. That's so normal. But do you remember maybe something where you felt like, oh yes, that was one of the moments that made me question myself, made me doubt myself?
You know, I had this best friend when I was young. She was like the best, and my neighbor as well. So we lived very close together, and when we got to like middle school, I don't know. And then she got like this, I don't know, there was like this super popular girl. And she was, I thought she was so pretty, and she was so funny, and she was kind as well. And I just felt like my best friend was slipping through my fingers, because she also liked this girl very much. And they started to like hang out so much, and I felt like, oh, I'm not cool enough, I'm not good enough. And the pretty girl also, like, I don't know, I felt like even my boyfriend liked her. And so I felt like she was taking everything from me. And I don't know, that's not her fault, because I've looked back at that memory a lot of times, and I felt like, wow, she was just such a good person, and I was so insecure, and I wanted to be her so much. So I don't know, maybe that memory shaped me a lot, because I felt like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to have like this boyfriend by myself. I'm not good enough to have even my best friend.
Do you remember how old were you at this time, more or less?
Like 13, 14, very
so
young.
really in the teenage years.
Yeah, it really hurt at the time.
Yeah.
I remember.
And I think we all, I mean, I think every person who listens to this knows this one pretty girl in school.
Yeah, and it's so
Or-
silly because I was so jealous of her.
Mhm.
And I almost like hated her. And I realized later that, wow, I was so insecure. That's a me problem. That's really a me problem. And because I was so insecure, I feel like I pushed people away from me as well. So it wasn't like my best friend's fault that she liked this girl as well. I think I pushed her away. And the friendship breakup was so hurtful. And I never experienced anything like it. It was like a hole in my heart that we weren't going to be best friends again. And I feel like that's because of my insecurities. Like, I'm never going to let something like that happen again.
How did it end?
No, it ended because I felt like, I don't know, I didn't felt prioritized. So I felt like I had to let her go to just be by myself. And that's a thing, because I push people away when I feel like they don't choose me.
You decided to make this, let's call it breakup.
Yeah, it felt like a breakup.
Oh.
Yeah. And maybe that's part of why I never felt like okay.
Do you remember what you liked so much about this girl?
My best friend?
No, about the
other girl?
Yes.
Well, I just felt like she was just full of confidence. And she was like, I thought she was a better version of me, to be honest.
In what kind of way?
She had longer hair or longer eyelashes, and she had like this pretty face, and she was, I don't know, all the people around me liked her. So I just wanted to be her so much. And then I realized, years after, it took a lot of years to realize this, but I didn't want to be her, but I wanted to have the same energy as she did, like the confident energy. And she didn't need validation from anybody else. So I'm working towards becoming something like her. And maybe she's insecure as well, but I didn't feel that in middle school.
Yes. Yes. We only see you.
Yeah, I idolized her. Yeah.
But then what changed? When did the change came in your life where you were like, I want to face my fears, as you said, and I want to go through them? What happened?
You know, it happened after middle school, because I didn't feel like I found my place there, and I lost like my best friends. And then I was like, now I'm on my own. I'm going to do the things I want. And I like moved to this school with the design class and things I wanted. And then I was like, I know nobody here. So why should I hold back with doing the things I want?
Can I interrupt you here?
Yeah.
Can you remember the day when you decided, okay, I'm going to go another path. I'm going to this design school. What happened on this day?
You know, everybody around me was like talking where they're going to school and what they were going to choose. And a lot of people were saying like, oh, I'm going to choose this because my friend is also doing this. And I just thought that was so silly. Why would you choose a subject just because your friends would go there? And I didn't have a lot of friends at that time either, so I felt like I didn't have anything to lose with choosing what I wanted. And I thought that maybe if I choose what I want, maybe I meet people that like the same thing and meet new friends there. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this.
Was it hard for you to make the decision to go a different path than what other people were choosing?
Not really, because I felt like I didn't have much to lose at that point. And I felt like I had to get away from this place because I have ruined it with my friends. So I was really excited to like start a new school where I knew nobody, because then I could start again, and I can be whoever I want. And I have had like thought about doing like posting my videos online for a while before going to school. And I thought it was like the perfect opportunity. Now I'm going to a new school. I don't know anybody here. And I can post my videos online in private. So I felt like nobody was judging me because nobody knew.
So you were afraid of that people who already knew you could judge you?
Yeah, I was really afraid that they would like see my YouTube videos and they would be like laughing. And nobody laughs now. But I'm sure they did.
So it was like a perfect opportunity for you too.
Yeah, it was a perfect opportunity for a new start, and it was a really great experience as well because it was so scary to post that first YouTube video. And I can't even think about all the opportunities that video got me later on. It was such a good experience to post that video.
For example, give me one opportunity you had that comes up in your mind.
Everything. My life would be so different if I didn't post that YouTube video. I bought my first apartment when I was 18. I got my dog. I took my driver's license. I got to publish books, and I got to earn money from making my silly YouTube videos. Everything I have gotten because I dared to post that first YouTube video.
When was that?
I was 16. So in 2017, late. Yeah. I posted it on winter break. So I didn't need to like meet anybody.
Can you walk us through the hours or the minutes where you were really sitting in front of your, I don't know, laptop and you realized...
and you have like this publish button.
Yeah.
And you're like, should I not, should I?
Yeah, walk me through it. How were you feeling?
Yeah.
What was going through your mind? Did you have doubts? Were you thinking about, let's make like cancel?
I was really bold when I was 16. And I don't know where that boldness went. But I was just in like a phase where I was like, I'm just going to do it my way. Everything. I want to do it.
What happened?
I don't know. I felt so empowered just to be at this new school, far away from home. I could do anything. I don't know. I had this feeling of everything is going to go my way.
But were you living at home at this time or not?
Yeah, I was living at home with my parents.
How was your environment there? Because I think...
At the school?
Yes.
It was really good actually because my class was... It's the craziest class I ever had. People had like purple hair and they watched anime and they drew a lot and they were so creative. It was so interesting people. And for the first time in my life, I felt so normal compared to the people I went to class with. And we were like 10 students only. It's a really small class. And 3 of the people in my class changed like the gender through the years as well. So I felt like, wow, these people are really bold. They do something that's not normal. And here I am. This is me. And if they could like do such a big change and be proud, of course I can start my silly little YouTube channel. That's nothing. I felt empowered by the people I met at my new school, in my new class. Because they were all different and they were not ashamed about it.
And then on the day from your release, from your first video, did you still felt so empowered and ready, or how was it?
Oh, I was such a nervous wreck when I pressed the button of publishing my first YouTube video. And that was my only plan. If I was going to post the first video, I had to keep going.
How did you commit to yourself so deeply to that? Did you...
Because I had such a passion for editing videos. I I used so many hours just to edit, and I had so much fun doing it. I loved making videos. It's really a passion, and it's still my passion today, to like make videos. I love the visuals and the color grading and the titles and the making like the little sounds and picking the right music and everything about it. I have such a passion for it. And I wanted to do the YouTube thing. And if people were going to laugh, they were going to laugh. But I wasn't going to know about it. I was just going to do my thing. And if they wanted to laugh, they could laugh.
That was so easy for you to think that back then.
Back then, I thought that, yes.
What a big change.
Yeah, it was a really big change that year.
From this girl of feeling so insecure and trying to...
But I still was insecure, I feel like. The insecurity wasn't gone, but I had been so insecure for such a long time that I felt like I just have to change this. I can't live like this. I'm not doing the things I want to do because I feel so insecure. So I just turned it off. I covered it.
How?
You know, you can fake it till you make it. I'm still a bit insecure sitting here talking English. But I'm doing it. I want to do it.
What makes you... Or to ask it in another way, what gives you this drive? What gives you this courage to tell yourself, I'm going to make it anyway. I will do it anyway, even if I'm scared.
It's because I think life can be, you have to make the most of it. And I felt like I didn't live the life I wanted. So I just did it. I felt like I owed myself to do it. And you know, in 100 years, we're all going to be dead anyway. And nobody is going to remember me. So why not? Why can't I do the things I want to do? And have you seen those videos on TikTok where you're like, oh, you this big? And then the globe is like, woo, this big, and the space, and you're just this teeny tiny human?
Yes.
So why not?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen the video.
Yeah.
It was impressive as well.
Yeah.
We really, when I watched it, I was like, why am I not doing what I really want?
Yeah. And I feel like that's the coolest part about meeting people who have done something differently, because we've all been at that point where you're like with the publishing button and you chose to do it anyway. You as well has been there, and everybody around us that works with something they started themselves, their own business and anything, they have all been there where they took the chance and was like, I'm going to do this for me.
Yes. I've been there too.
Yeah, you have.
I remember I 1 year ago. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the moment.
And that's why it's such a big celebration today. Because now you've been doing it for 1 year. And wow, look at you. You're sitting in this big studio.
Yes.
You are.
Thank you for putting myself up in my own podcast.
Yeah, of course.
Love it. Are you still doing the YouTube videos?
No, I actually quit my YouTube channel 3 years ago now.
What happened?
Yeah. I did it every week for 5 years. Even though it was like holidays or Christmas, I even vlogged my 18th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, I took no breaks. I had like this, it was really fun. And after 3 months, I think, after I started to earn my first money on my channel. And I didn't think that was even possible.
How?
You know, YouTube has like this monetization where you get ads. And when you reach a certain number of like views or followers, I don't remember, you get like accepted into this program where you can like earn your own money. And so I started to like get some money, and I also got a lot of mails from management that wanted to like sign me, and they sell you and your channel, so you like get commercials and you get sent products to just show off in your videos, and then you get paid as well. So after just 3 months of doing my YouTube channel, I started to earn money on the channel, and my parents were so confused what happened, and I was confused as well because I didn't. Yeah, of course I wanted to like do my YouTube videos, but I never imagined that I could live off it. So it was my full-time job for 5 years.
Your full-time job?
My full-time job. I dropped out of high school because I was earning enough money to do it full-time. So I did it. I thought this was like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So I had to like focus on this.
Girl, you were going all in.
Yeah, I was going all in. Yeah.
I'm still impressed.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. It was really, really magical chapter in my life. I feel like the YouTube era and the Norwegian YouTube community was really, really nice at that time. People were watching YouTube. But Norway is a very small country. And when TikTok came and people started to have shorter dopamine span, they need like to see something new or every 3 seconds, I feel like. So a lot of people started to lose interest in watching YouTube videos and just switched to TikTok. And then the views on Norwegian TikTok got down. And then you got paid less because of people not watching anymore. And then I realized if I'm going to keep living off this and not get another job as well, I have to change platforms to keep doing what I love.
But did you had a mission or something when you
what I wanted to share?
Yes.
I've always been so passionate about like my drawings, and I knit a lot and I make dresses and everything creativity. And I thought like I want to share that part because there's a lot of people like me growing up and feeling different from not like being the normal sporty kid. So I felt like I wanted to be like this digital online sister that I felt like I was missing growing up.
Did you also started to create real connections to some of your viewers?
Yeah, and that's what's so magic about the internet, because since I felt so lonely growing up, when I started to post my YouTube videos, I really found my community. Like I've gotten so many nice comments, and people were like liking what I did, and I felt really connected to my audience, and I still do. They're the nicest people. I really found my people. Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, they're like my internet besties.
And I
have so many friends online.
And I really think because because as you said, sometimes we see someone else doing something and it just gives us the courage because we can see that this person was able to do it. And I'm sure you also shared your insecurities.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of on my channel. I cried on my channel as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why people connected to you, because you showed your vulnerable side, which is so beautiful.
I think my passion after I started my YouTube channel, the one thing I wanted to like share, and I wanted to let everybody that watches know, is that you don't need to go the normal route to have a successful life. What is a successful life? I don't know. And I have so many people in my life and people I met that are not thinking this is a real job at all. But what is a real job? Is it going to the office? My job is paying my rent. So I feel like, how else did I get this money if I don't have a job? I don't know. It is a job. But people, you don't need to like go and have this boring job to live a successful life. You can drop out of high school and still be successful. You can be different from other people and still succeed. You can choose a different route.
Period.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
Yeah,
You can.
and I didn't think that was possible when I went to school. And you know, when I dropped out of school, everybody around me thought I was like crazy for doing it. Because
how was that?
Yeah, you need an education. Of course you need an education. And my parents are really passionate about having an education. And it's easy to say that I dropped out of school because I had other things to do. But the real reason I dropped out of school was because I got really sick my second year in school with like the mono, I think. I don't know how to say it in English. You get like this sickness, which is really common by teenagers, where you get so exhausted for a long period. And I was barely making it to school because I was editing all night. And I was at school doing my schoolwork. And I was sleeping under the desk when we had like some free time. It was so much stuff going on in my life that the day before the school was starting again, my dad came up to my bedroom and he was like, don't go to school. Like, it's okay. Take a year off and just focus on this YouTube thing. And we will support you and it will be great. And I would never in my life think that my parents would like recommend me to not go to school. But it was the best decision. Because then I moved out. I did YouTube full time. And I published my first book. And everything went so well. But it was like the thought about like, yeah, we're just going to take a year off. I'm going to start again. And I never really started again because the YouTube thing was going so well, so I didn't have time for school. But in like the last 2 years, I thought that, I don't know, maybe I want to study sometimes later. And then you have to have like your high school. And I have 1 year left. So I took it privately. And I actually finished my high school 2 years ago. Very late. But I did it. I did it online. And, you know, you have like these different exams. And I finished in like 3 months. And if somebody had told me earlier that you can just finish your high school online in a much shorter amount of time, because you don't have to use the time to go back and forth to school. You can just sit at home, read the subject and take the exam. And that's it. Wow, I would save so much time if I knew that. But I'm so proud of like, yes, I was a dropout, but I also finished. And that's why I want people to know that you can go a different route. And it's never too late to take an education. You can always take an education later.
Yeah, what would you say to someone who maybe feels deep inside that, I'm actually not sure if this path is for me, but my parents want me to do it or my friends are doing it. What would you say to someone?
It's such a hard thing to give tips on because I never had the pressure of my parents. So I can't relate to that. But I feel like if you're going on a path where you're feeling like this isn't right, it's better to like quit now than to keep going.
Is there something else that you could recommend to someone who is like really struggling to go their own path?
If you're not sure what you're going to do, because I feel like that's really common in your early 20s. Like you don't know what you should do or what you want to do. Then I would not recommend anyone to start studying before you really know what you want to do. Then I would ask them to start to just work or travel or do something you want to do first, and then you can always go back and study later.
So you did that, you did all of your YouTube, you took this year off, you finished your high school, your exam, you have it now.
Yeah, I have it. I can study now if I want to.
You can study now if you want to.
Yeah.
And then what happened in your life? You moved to your own apartment.
Just 6 months later after I moved, Corona came. And then my apartment felt very lonely because I hadn't made my connections in Oslo yet. And then I was just going to stay inside. Then I felt like Oslo became really lonely. And I have no colleagues as well. I have no study friends. I had no one around me, I felt like. But I had this dream job, so I just kept going with that. And I remember those years as fun as well, but also really lonely. So then I was like, I need to change this. And so I sold my apartment. And I bought a new apartment in my small town where I grew up, which is so crazy because I couldn't wait to get out of there. And then I moved back 3 years later. And I lived there, and every time I got lonely, I just walked to my parents' house. And I ate dinner with them every day, and they were like my best friends. And I didn't understand how much family meant to me before I moved out.
How did this felt?
It felt
This
really lonely.
realization.
Yeah, I don't know, I felt really lost. Because if I'm not... I felt lonely in Oslo, and I feel lonely here. Where am I going to go to not feel this feeling? How am I going to meet people when I'm never meeting new people? I just am in my apartment, I work from home, I live alone, and I live in this city where there's nobody my own age.
Yeah.
And I thought I have to change this. I have to change it, and it's only just me that can change it. So I started going to workout classes. And I started to play paddle. And I went out to cafes and worked a lot from cafes just to see other people and get some environment change. And then I started to feel a bit less lonely. But I realized I couldn't keep going to the workout classes in my small town because there was only ladies in their 50s and me and me. And there's nothing wrong with the ladies in their 50s because wow, they're in such a good shape. I'm really humbled being in those workout classes. But it was I can't keep going to these workout classes with my ex-boyfriend's mom.
She was there.
Yeah, she was there as well.
Okay.
And I love her, but I can't keep coming. And I can't make friends here.
Yeah, you wanted to,
yeah,
you were looking for people in your age. So now for someone to make it more practical, let's say someone is also a freelancer.
Yeah.
Maybe is in a new country.
Yeah.
Or a new city, doesn't really matter, but somewhere new, and is also only working from home. What practical tip would you give to them? What should they do? What should they do if they feel this loneliness and if they maybe also feel insecure?
Yeah.
You know? What should they do?
I think it's so common. And we don't speak about it because we just look at Instagram and we see everybody else has friends. Everybody else is doing so much fun things, everything. But on Instagram and social media, it's just the highlights. So we don't see the people that feel lonely and have moved to a new city to study, or I feel a lot of people are moving and they don't know how to make friends in their adult life because you don't meet them at school, you don't meet them at work. then you have to go out and find them in some other way. And that's really out of the comfort zone, because then you have to like say hi to strangers and actually get comfortable with doing uncomfortable things. So I feel like the best thing I did for myself, and I'm still working on it, is that I was like, oh, I have to walk a lot with my dog outside, and I have to say hi to people I meet. I have to go to the dog park, because there I meet a lot of other people that has dogs. Maybe I can make friends there. And I like signed up to all these workout classes to just see different people. And wow, there's young people here in Oslo. So I started to like say hi to people at my workout classes. I started to smile at people when I took the bus or when I was walking, because it's so crazy how if you just change your positive mindset and smile to people, you get it back. It's crazy, and then I feel less lonely if I just get a smile when I'm on a walk. So I started to do that, and I started to say yes to every opportunity. When I talk to people, I invited them out to coffee. And if people invited me to something, maybe a birthday where I didn't know anybody, I still went.
And now, what would you say? Did you have a moment where, let's say you wanted to sign up for a class and then you realized, oh, my fears and my doubts arise, and then you were like, oh no, I'm not gonna book this class, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Did you have these kind of moments?
Yeah, of course it took a time to like get started, and it's not every day you're ready for it. Some days you're more insecure. Other days you like wake up and you're like, of course I'm going to do it. So I just started to go to things by myself, and somehow it got easier every time. And if you know beforehand that yes, you're going to feel so stupid because you can't dance, and you haven't been to this workout class before, of course you're going to feel stupid in the beginning. But then you also look at the people around you, and they're so good, and they also had to start somewhere, and everybody knows that. So nobody's going to judge you, because we're all been at the beginning at some point. So if you know that beforehand, and you know that it's going to be uncomfortable, but you just have to stay in that feeling that yes, it's going to be uncomfortable, but I can deal with that.
So you made good experience with when you took the step.
Yeah. And the best thing about it was when I felt most uncomfortable going to things alone, and I was the most scared beforehand, it was always the best feeling going there back home. I was filled with like adrenaline, and I was like, oh my god, I did it. It was uncomfortable, but I still did it. You get so much power, I feel like, from just, wow, I did that. I can do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You then feel like the most powerful person in the world.
Yeah, you do. And that's so magical. I feel like I'm addicted to that feeling now. I search for things that I think it's scary.
Do you still have something right now that you know you're scared of doing that, and you know it's still holding you back? Something that you want to overcome, but you still didn't do it?
I feel like I just accomplished that, actually. I'm really high these days on the feeling that, wow, I'm in Bali. I'm on my first solo trip ever. And that was such a big thing for me. And it is still a big thing for me, because it was on my to-do list. That I'm so lucky to have the freedom of, I can work from anywhere. And I have worked like a freelancer for the last 7 years, and I have never traveled with my job, even though I have the opportunity, because I felt like my friends couldn't go with me because they have school or job or something. So I never did it, because then I had to do it alone. And after my last year in Oslo, where I started to do everything alone and by myself, even though it was scary, then I felt like, why should I wait for someone to travel with me when I can just do it alone? And then I couldn't sleep one night in January, and I was like, I'm just going to go to Bali for a month. And I get so homesick after 3 days on vacation. So it felt really crazy to book that 1 month trip. And I knew it was going to be really uncomfortable. I knew it was going to be lonely. And I'm so surprised because this is one of my last days here in Bali. And I also booked like a flexible plane ticket home because I knew maybe I want to go back in like after just 1 week.
Earlier, yeah, you told me
my goal was to like stay here for a month, which is so silly because it's such a dream to be in Bali. Why would you go home after just 1 week? But it was such like an out of my comfort zone thing to do.
Do you think that it's only the place, or is it also the place that transforms you, that makes you more open for new energies?
I think it's a combination of both, maybe. That you have to be open to get the opportunities. That's very important. I think if I went on this trip and just was in my hotel room, just went out to lunch by myself and had my headphones on, it would be a very different trip. But I was very open to speak to new people. I went to the places I knew there was other people. I went to events that I found on Instagram. And I think that made a huge difference.
I also think that's exactly the thing, that it doesn't matter where you are on this planet.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter in which country you live.
It matters a little bit.
It matters a little bit, but if you never smile to people, if you are so closed from inside, then it doesn't matter where you are, because no one expect from you will take you out of this rabbit hole. You have to do it yourself. As you said, you're the only person who can take yourself and put yourself out into this world. And yes, it is the hardest part.
Yeah.
But it is also the most powerful thing, because when you do it, then you know you did it because you managed to do it.
Yeah. You know, it took me so many years to realize that the people are not going to knock on my door. I have to go out and find them.
Yes.
And be open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so easy, I think, to blame other people for that. It's so
I
easy.
have done that a lot. Yeah.
Me too. It was because it's much easier. It's much easier to sit in your room and to be like scrolling on Instagram and to see other people and to think, oh, they have such a nice life. But why do they have this life? It's not because they were sitting in their room crying and hoping that someone is going to come to their door. It's because they took this courage and they made a brave move.
Yeah.
And they risked something, same as you did.
Yeah, everything changed for me when I started to go out and smile.
Do you still have sometimes this feeling of loneliness, or that you're maybe scared?
Yes, of course I do, yeah.
When you're not surrounded by people?
Of course, but I feel like I come such a long way. Because the last time I lived in Oslo, maybe 5 out of 7 days in the week, I felt horrible. Now, maybe 2 days a month. And every other day I feel so just happy, and I feel confident in myself that I can make a change. I feel like it's very possible to change. And if I want to have a different job, I can do that. If I want to sell my apartment and move into a little college house, I can do that. You can always change everything. And I feel so much comfort in that. And I also I read this quote once, that you haven't met a lot of people that you're going to love. And I find so much comfort in I'm going to meet so many amazing people and I don't know it yet. I love that. And I love the fact that you can't like miss an opportunity that's for you. It's going to come your way either way. But you have to be open.
Was there a moment or a time when you really trusted very deeply into this quote?
Of course. Yeah, there was like this time 2 years ago where I felt so lonely in Eidsvoll, and I went through a breakup with my boyfriend at the time, and I was so lost in what I was going to do with my work, especially when YouTube was dying. The Norwegian YouTube was dying, and I had to like start over in both my work. I had to move. I had to let go of this amazing boyfriend that I had, that I felt like knew me so well, and he was such my comfort person, and now I have to like let him go and start all over by myself. And that was really scary because everything in my life was changing, but I just felt so confident that yeah, you have to let go of your old life to get your new one. And I'm so glad that everything went the way it went.
How did you manage to get through this time when you felt so lost? Because for me, it sounds like, you were really building this community on YouTube, and you were really doing what you love, and then you have to make such a big change. It's kind of like losing your identity or looking for, who am I now? Did I understand this correctly? Or
yeah, it felt like a life crisis. Yeah, and I felt like I was so behind in life as well because I didn't study, and the people my age are starting to be done with their studies, and they're starting to be doctors, and they're starting to have like this real adult life, and people around me are starting to have kids and get engaged, and I don't know, the 20s is crazy. People are at so different speed, and when you feel like your life falls apart and everything you know is falling apart, yeah, it can be hard. But I was really confident that I'm going to handle this as well.
Where did it come from, this confidence? How did you manage to
I don't
push
know,
through it?
maybe it's because I felt like I have done it before.
Did you have days where it was hard for you to wake up, or where you felt like, I really can't do this?
Yeah, in the waiting period where I was like searching for my new apartment and I was selling my old, and I was just in this waiting stage in my life where I didn't know what's next. I felt really lost, and some days I didn't even wake up because you have no boss telling you to go to work. I'm the boss. And my boss is really nice and forgiving. So I had times where I didn't feel like waking up, and yeah, I just stayed in bed for a long time. But then you have to it's okay to do that for a period. Maybe you need it. Maybe it's grieving. But it's also important to start over again. And when I have these periods where I feel really depressed and I can't do basic things as getting out of bed, I start at the basic again. Then I start to look at my sleep schedule. Okay, the only thing I'm going to do for the next days is getting my sleep back on track. I'm going to go early to bed and waking up. That's my only prioritizing. And then I start to look at food. Am I eating? In periods where it's hard to get up, you're not eating properly as well. And then you have no energy. So it's this bad cycle. So I start with sleep, I start with food, and then I start to go out, go on walks. And when you start to everything starts to get better when you get those things in check. When you start to move your body, when you start to eat right again, when you sleep. If you can start there, I think it's easier to move forward.
Can you, if you feel comfortable enough, walk us through a day when you maybe try to remember a day where it was really, really hard for you to get up? How did this moment look like, and what helped you in this moment to get out? Because I think what you're sharing with us is so great. It's a mix of so many things that come together when it comes to our own well-being. It's not only our sleep, it's not only the food, it's a combination of so many things. But I think what a lot of people struggle with is, yes, you tell yourself you're going to bed early and you're going to wake up in the morning. But when this feeling of low energy hits you, how do you still keep going? How do you still commit to what you told yourself? How did you do that?
I think that's the part where I'm really lucky, because I have this flexible job that if I feel like that, I can't do anything today, then I give myself some slack, actually. I take a break. Then I'm like, oh, I need some more sleep today. Then I'm going to do it. Maybe you have some meetings or some important tasks to get done. But I try to be very kind to myself and realize that some days you need some extra care. And I'm also really lucky because over the years, I have never had a lot of friends, but the ones I had is really great. They don't live nearby me right now, but I have really good quality friends that I always can call, and I feel so comfortable sharing everything. And I feel like that's helped me so much. And I try to be there as well for them if they need me.
Just a whole nother question after the friendship, but it's not really another question. How is your time going to look like? Because you're returning from Bali, from all the connections you made here.
Yeah.
You're going back home. What is going through your mind? Do you have some fears that come up? Or do you have also some excitement that you feel?
Yeah.
How is your time going to look like?
Yeah, a bit. I lived very happy in Oslo. Like, I was really happy with the city I was living in. And then I got here and tasted the smoothie bowls. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be satisfied with like a smoothie bowl in Oslo again. Like, this is the first time I experienced that the world had so much more to offer.
Mina, I'm so proud when I see you and hear you talking. Seriously. And I also know that what we are recording today is gonna be so valuable for, I'm 100% sure, for at least one person. Just for the end, is there anything you would like to share as an end from this episode? Something that you would like to share with the audience, maybe when they're being in the same place right now, or when they see this or listen to it and they're like, oh, I actually feel I want to change something? Or is there anything else you would like to share?
I feel like you just have to start somewhere. I'm such a perfectionist, and I feel like I hold myself back a lot with things I want to do because I'm like, no, I can't dance yet. But of course you can't. You don't need to dance. You don't need to dance before going to a dance class. That's the whole point of the class, to learn. You don't need to have the skills to do something new. You just start.
Thank you so much for your words. And I also want to talk now to my audience.
Yeah, talk to the audience.
To my audience, to all the people who already listened to it, and to everyone who's new. Thank you, really, from the bottom of my heart. I can't say it differently. Thank you so much for being with me on this incredible journey. I am so happy to share with all of you my new and old baby, which is called now Unfold, with me, Larissa Lienhard, your host. And I'm just very, very happy and so excited for everything that is gonna come. Don't forget, first of all, to follow all of the accounts from Mina. I'm gonna put all the links down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel wherever you listen to this episode right now. And don't forget to, and now it comes, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. My God, I never ever thought that I'm gonna say that here in Bali. And feel free to share this episode with every person you have in mind that should listen to exactly this, because I think this is where the power lies within. Don't forget to give a thumb up, and I'll see you on the next Wednesday. Have a great day or have a good night. And now it comes, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. My God, I never ever thought that I'm gonna say that here in Bali. And feel free to share this episode with every person you have in mind that should listen to exactly this, because I think this is where the power lies within. Don't forget to give a thumb up, and I'll see you on the next Wednesday. Have a great day or have a good night.